Yeah, for me it's a really interesting film, apart from being a low-budget film, which is one of the main kind of points about it. I think formally it's really interesting the way it's got the two layers of kind of story, the older story of the letters of the mother's lover, and then the story of the daughter as she kind of discovers Paris and thinks about the meaning of love and life, and the things are kind of left a bit unresolved in the end as well, like what happened exactly and all that. So that's kind of really interesting. It's got I really love the use of incidental kind of things that are just captured like documentary style in Paris and in Melbourne as well. And the editing is just amazing. So with real kind of minimal means, something really interesting was created, and it basically got funding from the Australian Film Commission, but only a little bit of money, like $20,000, from something called Strand X, which was for experimental film. But they allowed like narrative features to be made with that amount of money. And I think most of the money just kind of went on plane fares, a bit of accommodation.
Yep.
I think she probably bought the camera as well with the money. It was one of the very first, just when high def kind of came out in about 2006 or so, I think. And so there's about 4,000 or 5,000 spent buying the camera as well. So the 20,000 went really quickly. And then there were other people who helped out, obviously, with the editing and the music and some sound design and all that. When did you first meet Anna? How did you meet? And
I met Anna on Dreams for Life.
That's her first feature.
Yep. I worked for a month in the wardrobe department for free as an attachment, working with Zed. I can't remember his last name now. So long ago. I think it was 2002. So that's how I met Anna during that. And she actually lived 2 blocks away from me in McKinnon, where I live. So we were neighbours. And it wasn't until a couple of years later that I actually kind of reconnected with her after Dreams for Life. And
did she know that you were an actress when you were doing Dreams for Life? You were obviously on the crew.
But I was crew.
So she didn't even know you were an actress?
No, it was a very intense. Like these independent films, it's always intense when you make these films, and I didn't really have a chance to talk to Anna and during the actual making of that film. It was more with Anya Whitehead, who was producing the film, so I didn't really get to talk to Anna until way after.
It's so ironic that film,
weird.
Dreams for Life was also an AFC funded film, but like to the tune of $500,000 or something, and so it had a big crew and a number of different actors.
It was shot on film.
Yeah. So obviously Kissing Paris was a completely different kind of production setup.
Yes.
How did she approach you for Kissing Paris? Did she have the idea first?
To be honest, I don't remember. But I think she was writing it for a while, and because I think it was more of my technical ability in the beginning, because I knew how I was making films with another friend of mine. We were making shorts, and because I was technically capable of shooting, I think that's how it came about, but I don't exactly remember. I know I used to go over to her place a lot, and her brother Nino would cook up these fabulous meals, and we would chat film and music. And
so you were getting friendly because you lived close to each other.
And it was through that, and then I don't remember how, but I knew she was working on something, and then she talked to me about it, and it was a long gestation, and then I remember she said, if we get the funding, we're going to go, but if we did make this film, it was going to be tough because she wasn't well, she had certain needs, and I was probably going to have to look after her physically, her well-being, as well as look after all the technical stuff on the film. So, which is why it was, doing all the setups and then jumping in and jumping out. So it was crazy.
And also, she only had a certain amount of energy each day. She couldn't work a 12-hour day.
No,
definitely not. She was very kind of small and frail, and had a certain condition, and
So it meant the days were short, but the shooting time was 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Bonjour. Claire, I suppose. Yes. It's here. This is the key for the glass door, and this the key for the apartment. Okay?
Okay.
Well, that's it. You have my phone number.
Yes.
Okay?
Maybe I can give you a call. We can catch up for a coffee.
Oh, you will not have problem with the apartment. No, it's very easy. Okay?
Okay.
Bye. See you.
Bye.
Was the script completely complete when you started, or did the meetings with the guys, was some of that improvised or came about because you found those particular people, or there was a complete script to begin with?
There was a complete script by the end, because I think that's what she used to apply for funding. She had a script.
Yep, of course.
And that's what got her the funding. There was. And a lot of
the first film. Sorry, what was the name?
Yeah, Dreams for Life.
Yeah.
Dreams for Life started really amazingly with its festival run by being shortlisted for Cannes. And she was waiting just at that last moment, just a few weeks before the Cannes Film Festival begins. And unfortunately, she didn't get through, but she was actually shortlisted. And from that incredible kind of hopeful beginning, it was, rejected by MIF, it was rejected by other festivals. It played in a few places here and there. I think Brisbane Film Festival that also played Kissing Paris. And just a few other kind of little screenings, which was, unfortunate. Yeah.
Can you find that? Was it easy to find that particular film that we're talking about?
Does Anya Whitehead and her company Music Art
Dance Films. I think
is that one available on DVD?
Should be. It should be. I think that website is still active. I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm curious that she got. Did you say $500,000 for that film?
for the
Not
first
this-
for the
yeah,
first
for
one.
the
first one.
Yeah.
So I would think that would have helped her to have got more money, access to more money to make this second film that you were in. That surprises me. Usually I would think it's not much money for the first one and then jump up.
She
to the
had a
second.
longer feature project in mind called The Distance that she'd been working on for years, and together with the producer John Crothers in Sydney, they were trying to get that one up. But I think she needed, if someone could grab the door, I think she needed much more for that, like 3 or 5 million, maybe, I'm not sure. And I think what sparked her actually was that I myself, in 2005, got the same grant, this Strand X grant, got just $20,000, and I made a film called Blue Notes, and her brother, Anna Kannava's brother, Nino, was in my film, and she saw how I could achieve a feature film for only that $20,000. And I think she just got inspired and went for the same grant herself, just kind of thinking...
She may have gone for the bigger funding, but they wouldn't give it to her, which is why she... but
Such
she knew
a pity,
people.
I think.
Yeah.
She couldn't get more money.
Yeah, I think she did try, and but she knew someone who was doing Strand X, so that's how she ended up, I think.
Yeah, sure. I think the beauty of this film is that it is so low budget, and the economy means that there's a real kind of richness of execution of all the elements.
faim des haricots une fois sur une montague un marchand de fruits me fit un clin d'œil.
I really liked the main sort of male voiceover, but I may have missed it in the credits where that came from and who did it. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
His name was Emil. He was a mystery man. I think he was a friend of the editor.
Yep, that's right. He must be credited
He's,
at the end.
yeah, he's Emil.
He was credited.
Yeah, his name's Emil, and I can't remember his last name.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he was a friend of the editor, and that's all I know about him.
And those were Anna's words, or?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
She would have written everything.
No, I think she wrote everything. Anna was very fastidious about the words. I think.
At nights, I walk the streets alone, having debates with the gods. Each step another why, as I struggle to understand. Why could I love only you? Why did you choose him instead of me? Why go on living without you? These questions I ponder over and over, my love. The gods get dizzy.
The Super 8 60s footage, but I presume that was...
Real footage.
Isn't that amazing? So, did Anna just say that opportunistically and write to the footage?
I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure because it kind of evolved. Now that I think about it, when she was writing it, I think the ideas came to her as because she knew my parents, and she wanted footage, and I think she wanted my mum, because that's my mum in all those photos is my actual mother, and the honeymoon. I think their honeymoon footage, real honeymoon footage, Super 8 stuff, and she somehow incorporated that into the film. But now that I think about it, it's been 10 years. I haven't really thought about it, but I think the script kind of evolved.
What did your dad think about this completely alternate family?
He loves. They love the attention. They've been to the screenings,
did
several
he
years
wonder
ago. They
if there
love
was
the
something
attention.
like that?
I was going to say, did he think, what's
Did he think
they just
there was
they're amused by the whole thing. They were really amused. Dad's like, I'm on the screen.
Yeah.
Kissing you sparked life into me and rendered me alive. He was the easy way out. Now you write that you don't care what happens to you. You'll just be counting the days until you die. I try hard to understand what it was that made you choose this death instead of us, when to love each other is the essence of our lives.
So the three main guys we see that you interact with, how were they actors? Were they real people? They were actors?
They were actors.
And how were they organised?
There used to be this website for casting, French casting website. I can't remember, but I think we were poured through all of them, looking through photos. She wanted a spunky French guys.
Oh, she got
Anna's
them,
thing, yeah. So, and then
Don't we all?
Yeah.
So she had a particular guys in mind. So I think they were all actors. They all worked in theatre of some kind. I know Paul and his real girlfriend Juliette are quite big with YouTube and stuff now.
Tu sais, je ne croirai qu'à ce que je verrai entre mes mains serrées. Claire.
Julien,
Ça va?
ça va bien.
This is Beatrice.
Hello. Hello.
She will go to Australia soon. So maybe you could give her your address or number?
When are you going?
I'm going to New Zealand and Tasmania also. Maybe November, December. When do you go back to Australia?
I don't know.
She had a real love affair with Europe. I mean, Yeah, firstly, she's from Cyprus, and she migrated to Australia with her family when she was about 14 because of the Turkish invasion. Pretty much, there were other reasons in there too. And at this time, she was going to Europe quite a bit. She's also written 2 novels, and they're both set in Europe. One's actually set in Portugal, in Lisbon, and she was there and she really loved that. I actually spent time with her and her brother in Prague. Like, we were there for 2 weeks, and she had this really amazing energy and curiosity to just see things every day, and she'd just kind of observe and always, I guess, thinking. You know, she had a true artistic kind of sensibility of always observing and trying to think. And Paris, obviously, she'd been to couple of times, 2-3 times before that.
Yeah, she loved France. She loved Paris. She loved French films. She loved that bloody Eiffel.
Yeah.
If we were on a bus, she'd go, "Get the Eiffel, quick, get the Eiffel." Every possible angle that we could get that Eiffel Tower, she would get it.
Comme je regrette l'amour d'autrefois, ces jours heureux où je ne pensais qu'à toi, ni les ennuis, ni les oublis ne me feraient changer d'avis. Sous un ciel bleu, le cœur gai et léger, main dans la main, nous étions protégés, loin des amis, loin des soucis, inséparables dans tout Paris. Et si demain je te retrouvais, je ne te quitterai plus jamais. Comment te chercher sans réveiller toute la douleur amère?
There's this really amazing postscript to this story of the shooting and making of this film, and that's that Natalie herself started living in Paris after this film for a number of years, and I guess wanting to know about its passion, about its
life, imitated art, I guess.
So it's really extraordinary in that regard. Yeah.
Even became an English teacher as well, just like in that.
Yeah.
And why did you come back?
Get to a point where it's time to come home.
You've read all the letters. You've read all the letters.
Yeah.
She's got too many postcards from her.
We won't ask you about your experiences with guys in Paris. Yeah.
Hot French guys.
What kind of are you talking about?
If you were emulating the film or not.
Not quite.
Yeah.
I think you better go.
What?
You better go. Now!
You are strange.
What actually happened to the film, this particular film, festival-wise, and what?
It premiered at Brisbane, Brisbane International Film Festival. It got screened at Cork, and I was lucky when I was living in France to go to Cork and watch the screening. And it's screened at Tiburon, I think that's how you pronounce it, in Los Angeles.
Okay.
I think it's screened at Acme a couple of times, at Nova.
Did Anna get to go to any of these?
She went to Brisbane.
Yeah, okay.
I think you went as well.
Yeah, I went to Brisbane too, yeah.
She went to Brisbane, which was quite nice.
Yeah.
For them to screen it.
So MIF rejected it, and probably other Australian.
Why do they look at when they're choosing films? Because I've been to some films that Christopher's dragged me along to. Mum, you're going to really love this, and I'm just bored shitless. And some of them are just so bad.
Did Chris love them?
Sorry?
Did Chris still love them?
No, not all of them, no.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But just when you watch something like this, and then you think of some others
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
out there, and just, it floors me.
I've got my own theories about it. I mean, I won't go on about it too much, but I guess one thing is that there's vested interests in a lot of films, so a film needs to have a distributor and kind of funding. I mean, this one had funding, but only a little bit. So I think sometimes the festivals like films to be really polished or really more conventional. So this one's a little rough, but it's actually really quite polished. But they would still see it as a little rough and a little unconventional, because they would probably look at it and think, whose story is it? We're hearing this voice a lot of this guy, but we're not seeing him. And there's too much of a schism between those two things, and they'd probably think, no, an audience would be confused by it. And, you know, do you remember Anna talking about that at that time, about festivals? And
I know she really wanted to get into MIF.
Yeah.
Which was quite heartbroken.
Yeah.
When it didn't, because she wanted it to be screened in Melbourne. Open in Melbourne, but oh well.
As in a faded postcard, my love, occasionally I see an old couple holding hands, and I am pierced. What might my life have been like with you if we'd grown old together in the suburbs? In life, there are things we do because we feel we must, and things we do or don't do because we are afraid. Even today, my love, I don't know what I would do if I were given the same choices again.
So looking at the acting a bit more, did Anna probably didn't have too much of a chance to direct, like each take? It would have been quite quick, or how did that go?
It wasn't a lot of time.
Especially in public, obviously.
Yeah. And there wasn't a lot of direction. She kind of just would get you to do it, and to do it again. There wasn't a lot of feedback that I remember anyway. I could be wrong, my memory might fail me, but I don't remember there was a lot of direction, and particularly in some of those shots we only had one chance. So she would give me some sort of like, this is what I want you to do, and then it was just dive in and do it. And you didn't get a second chance. Like if you thought you were shit, it's like too bad. It's like
scenes you didn't have to do over and over and over.
No, not really. There wasn't no. I mean, maybe in the apartment stuff there was, but we had so many shots to do in such a short amount of time that there wasn't a lot of that I remember. A lot.
Was it shortlisted?
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Was it shortlisted? I don't remember it.
It was pretty well mapped out though.
She's got a very good
Everything that was in there.
She covered a lot. We shot a lot. We had tapes and tapes of stuff.
I think if you look closely, there's a lot of mistakes, and they're kept in there. And the editor has done this great job of incorporating them into the flow, the montage of everything. It's almost like you can feel Anna's hands because she couldn't hold the camera properly, and it's kind of jerking around. And yet the editor made it work, you know, by putting a lot of that stuff in. And obviously there's a lot of just more conventional documentary shots, and they work fantastically well. Any more questions?
I just wanted to ask the clarity of it. Is that done intentionally?
It's you're looking at a file that's compressed. It's actually shot on high definition, and hopefully one day a high definition version can actually be made where everything's really sharp and clear. Unfortunately, when high def first came out, a lot of filmmakers could only edit on standard definition. So they'd go from this really sharp thing to this, less sharp thing, and it just means that now, and this is off for DVD as well, so it's probably compressed a little for the DVD, and hopefully, Anna herself is not around. Maybe with the editor, a high definition version can be done sometime, and to restore it to kind of full glory. I'm not sure. Anna was really loved by a lot of people, and a lot of people wanted to help her. Producers, writers, John Crothers, Daniel Scharf, Ray Argel, Anya Whitehead. There were all these kind of people, and yeah, But she was also very determined, a very determined and fierce kind of individual and person. Very, very nice person, but very determined. Any other questions? I guess we'll wrap it up. So thank you everyone for coming, and thank you Natalie.
No, thank you Bill, and thank you Chris.